I don't know if any of this is interesting. It might be. The idea of doing this this webisode thing is about like raising a profile, or I'm not trying to pull back a curtain and show people how it is, but this is like literally how it is. None of it's scripted except for the shows where we play songs because we have a set list. But I'm just kind of making it up as I go and finding the interesting things and learning about how to edit video or sync up audio or all the other, whatever, try to keep it interesting. But ultimately, I don't know. It's a document of what we're doing, where we're going. Maybe it's cool, maybe it's not. Why am I doing here? Is a really good question, because I don't know. Part of doing this tour, booking it, is inspired by the running down of the clock that we all feel, I think, after 50, and wanting to see people and do something artistic, something that communicates and talks to folks. I'm testing myself, putting a lot of strain on some relationships, and trying to figure out why any of us are doing anything. I'm just really fortunate to have the people with me who are traveling and doing those things. E minor there, my friend. My sugar don't act so sweet. She'll make you old. She slips between your teeth, leaves nothing but a hole. You can feel her at the root, and even in your sleep. No matter how strong you are, you want something sweet. Even if you pull them out, she's gonna win. You can still speak her name and taste it on your lips. My sugar don't act so nice. What would you expect? Pretty girl, easy love, no regrets. My sugar don't act so sweet. She'll in Seattle, we played a show with Vic Bondi, who is a friend and is in cahoots in certain ways with Jay Robbins back in Baltimore. Vic is kind of a legendary hardcore scenester kind of guy. He started, I don't want to say scenester, sorry Vic, but he was in the forefront of the Chicago hardcore scene. He had a band, Articles of Faith, and he's since had lots of bands, 6 different bands. But I asked him if he would open the show, and we were staying with him and his wife Tanya, and the gracious opening up their home, letting us sprawl out and do the things we needed to do. A lot of times Dave and I use couchsurfing.com in order to find places to stay. We've only stayed in one hotel so far. That was the Port Townsend Inn in Port Townsend, Washington, which was reasonably priced, very clean. I really liked that hotel room. I was bummed that we had to pay for one because we're trying to keep our overhead as low as we can. And we're gonna have to get another hotel room in Willits, California. But other than that, hopefully we can kind of skate by because it keeps us from having to pay too much money. But the great thing about couch surfing is you're meeting people who are adventurous, interesting people who have led very, very, very interesting lives. Almost everybody, I think almost it's like a 100% return rate on how smart everybody was that we've met on couchsurfing.com. Like, they are really smart people who can share their experiences and have seen a lot of great things, but they also take you in. Most of the time, they give you 100% access to the refrigerator and anything that's in there, which we don't normally partake. We don't want to impose too much. It's kind of a joke when I say that we're going across the country wearing out our welcome. Now we want to keep our welcome. Conscious of what you're thinking, but yeah, I really miss this person. It's in B minor, the people's key. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You danced a turn, took your time. What am I to do with you cut loose and burned straight through? Baby, I know you gotta go. You gotta go and get gone. Who's gonna rock me back home? Who's gonna rock me back home? Who's gonna shake me, blood and bone? Who's gonna rock me back home? Baby, I know you gotta go. You gotta go Baby, I know you gotta go. You gotta go and get gone. You gotta go and get gone. Thank you so much. So I've had the band together for 25 years. I don't think that the road, this mythic God, romanticized, overly romanticized God of the road is an actual thing. I think that's just some sort of cultural platitude that we have assigned the great romanticized idea of going west, young man, and seeking your fortune. I mean, I'm okay with the phrase going on tour because that's what we're doing. We're going out and seeing the country and seeing people and playing music. But when I guess Robbie Robertson in The Last Waltz talks about, the road, and there's this whole idea of like, yeah, it's just I'm strangely drawn to the road. I don't know, I'm strangely drawn to the people on the road. It's not the road so much. And it's not even the driving. I like the driving, but just yesterday, somebody in a Dodge Charger tried to murder us by crossing into the lane and giving Hadley I don't know, it was a heart attack, but boy, he was angry. He made a lot of noises I've heard him make before, but not as frantically or as urgently as that. There's a selfishness about going on tour that I'm going to do this thing and I'm leaving friends and family back in Maryland and moving, spending this time without them, missing out on the things that they're doing or the times that we have when I'm there. And I don't know if it's selfish, but while I'm leaving that for a short period of time, I am forging other friendships and relationships and meeting other people and experiencing things. And that's really, really important. I think just as expanding our network or understanding how the rest of the country is doing in these pretty volatile, weird, for lack of a better term or an academic term, dumbass times that we're in. The people we met in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and Eaton, Ohio, are becoming friends. We're exchanging texts and emails, and there's a real sense of community and friendship and expansion, which is great. It feels good for that. Thank you so much. It's a song called I've Been High a Long Time. I haven't. I don't smoke pot often. Every once in a while, I get a little wild hair, and I think to myself, maybe I'll smoke a doobie. And now that it's legal in Maryland, you just go down to a cannabis shop and you just buy it. It's weird. The first time I was in a dispensary was in Seattle about 6 years ago. And my girlfriend at the time and I were waiting for my baggage to be found by United or Delta or whatever. And so we're driving around for a little bit in a rented car, and she said, well, let's just go to this dispensary. So we go to the dispensary, and we're standing there in a line of people and looking around. And it's like, so we're just going to show an ID, and we're just going to buy some pot? This is weird. Not only is it weird, but it's like, but we're from out of state. Is that legal? And then we found out it was.
I was like, well, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna buy some Mary Janes, is what they call it, right? So we're just gonna do, get some rocket fuel, some Humboldt County. This guy standing in line in front of us is kind of just like sitting there, like, we're going through a line. It's kind of like McDonald's now. And so we're going through the line, and she said, so what are you getting? And he turned around. It's kind of like, well, I'm getting a number 3, and I'm going to supersize it. And she says, oh, see you guys. Take care. Have a good night. And he said, it was one of those weird, like, Lemon Patch Kids, lemongrass. I don't know, like, how they come up with the titles of donuts or weed. But, yeah, I mean, it's... Well, Nurse Jackie is the one that she prefers, but I don't know if that's made it out here yet. But... And she said, oh, cool, you like that strain? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. He goes, what are you guys getting? And she's like, I don't know yet. And he's like, oh, cool. And he's like, so you guys just hanging out? And she said, well, we're waiting for some luggage. He goes, oh, yeah, I just got off work for the week. I'm just going to go home and smoke a couple joints and go to sleep. It was a perfectly acceptable, normal thing. So strange. I thought at any minute we were going to get busted. We did find out later that it was illegal for us to fly with the joint in the suitcase. That was wrong. Yeah. Kind of like when we took that half bottle of Elijah Craig with us across international lines to Canada. When they said, "Do you have anything to declare?" And I was like, "Nah." And then we got over there, and I looked at the back seat. I was like, "Oh yeah, we have that bottle." Ooh dear. And then we came back today, so we hid it. We hit it better. We were bootlegging it, and but then I was throwing some stuff out in the trash, and I was like, "Oh wait, no, we have these blackberries and we have these tomatoes. We're not supposed to take these over there either." So, but the cool thing is like right before we got on the ferry in Victoria, we threw the tomatoes and berries in a grassy area that seemed like it was really moist and susceptible to germination of seeds. So I'm sure it's okay. But Canada's going to have the last laugh because we bought a bunch of firewood over there and we just brought it over to the U.S. So. All right, I can't wait to listen back to this tape. What's wrong with me? All right, let's do stars and the key of David. And of all the seasons that I've seen, like the early autumn sun sinking through the trees, I trace your footsteps through the frost in a mapped out heart and never get lost. Even if the stars in the sky, yeah, they won't align, I'm gonna close my eyes and get back home. Yeah, they won't align, I'm gonna close my eyes and get back home. Like the candle on a table waiting to burn, and the straightaway roads end in a curve. Late at night, I listen to you breathe. Singing these words while in your sleep. And even if the stars in the sky, yeah, they won't align, I'm gonna close my eyes, get back home. Thanks so much.
In Provo, Utah, we stayed with a couple of folks who, you know, it was a Sunday. It was dead in Provo. There was nothing going on, and we ended up going to a Taco Bell. But the real treat to going to Taco Bell was not the canteen chicken, which I don't advise anybody ever eat. But we were in a fully automated self-driving Tesla, and you know, it did really well. There weren't that many cars on the road, but it made all the turns itself. And the guy, our host for that night, he was driving. I mean, he kept his hands like in the position of the wheel and his foot sort of on the brake, sort of on the gas, because that's exactly how you should drive a self-driving car, because you can't really trust the technology. In Denver, Colorado, we ended up listening to some really high-end stereo system stuff that a neighbor of the guy that we were staying with, Leo, was our host. He's a friend of a friend, my friend Ralph in DC, and he had this amazing. His neighbor, Leo's neighbor, a guy named Steve, had an amazing stereo system, and he builds his job is building in insanely high-end speaker systems and stuff for home stereo and installations and stuff like that. So we went. He invited us over to listen to a couple records, and it wasn't a listening. We weren't listening to records as much as resurrecting the dead. It was this amazing thing where he played Louis Armstrong singing St. James Infirmary, and you could hear everything, and it was the original recording from like 1960 or 1966. I don't know, it's somewhere in there, but I think it was 1960. But you could hear you could hear the air, you could hear not just the breath, but there's like the articulation of his mouth moving. It was really something. And those are the types of experiences that when you meet these people and you start talking to them, and then there's this sharing thing that is really rewarding when you're out on tour. From Seattle, we drove up to Port Angeles, which, of course, is where Raymond Carver is buried, and I wanted to go visit his grave, but it was closed. On Sundays, the cemetery was closed, so we couldn't do that. So we grabbed, it was all planned anyhow, Port Angeles, Washington. You grab a ferry, and you can transport your car over to Victoria, British Columbia. And then from there, we met up with Kat Kadosky, who was our musical host for a couple days, and she helped us set up a house concert. And that was again, like, reaching out, expansion. Why am I doing here as an expansion? It's reaffirmation, and it's the ability to see people you haven't seen in a while. I saw Kat last 5 years ago, I think, when Ellen Cherry and I were out doing the Why Aren't You Famous podcast series. We came out to Sooke and interviewed her, and we played some songs, and we did a show with her. So, but it's been all that. It's been a long time. So seeing her was great, but also, you have a personal guide, and so some of the video you're seeing in this episode was taken on a hike that we did at the Sooke potholes, which is very different from Baltimore potholes. I guess there's a strange kind of beauty and awe and wonderment to the Baltimore potholes as you hit them and they destroy your tires. These potholes were kind of natural formations, indentations in rocks that pooled water from a small river that kind of runs through some stuff, and it's very beautiful, very, very beautiful stuff. One of the rare, I don't know if it's treasures, treats maybe, is that I'm getting to see some friends from when I was growing up, and part of the why am I doing here is kind of retracing that and keeping those connections together. Right now we're staying with a guy I knew from growing up, Tony Favazza, and he's a kind, gentle, thoughtful, meditative kind of cosmic soul. He's very cool. He's a very nice guy. But love talking to him and love seeing him because he was still is. Still plays guitar. He's playing tonight. He's playing the show tonight. But he was a much better guitarist than the rest of us growing up, and so he was something to kind of look up to or kind of watch and learn from. So, and now all these years later, I get to, as I'm touring through and playing shows and stuff like that, I get to share these shows with him and stuff, and that's fun. It's great. It's life affirming.
I learned a long time ago, if somebody requests one of your own songs and you're at the level we play, yes, we will play that song. Unless it's in Golden, Colorado, and he asks for a song I haven't played in 23 years. And I don't even know the lyrics to anymore. But this one, I do know. Thank you. I wrote this song in 2005. And I was teaching at Francis Scott Key High School, where Jeremy went to high school. Yeah, woo, Eagles! Nest nuts forever! But I remember February of 2005, and I was driving to the school. I used to get there really early. They opened the school for faculty at 6 a.m. And if they had opened at 5 a.m., I would have been there, because I got all my work done in the morning. And I remember listening to NPR, and Bob Edwards was talking about, boy, I guess at the time it would have been Pope John, no, it was Benedict, I think, at that point. And I don't know, that phrase, Pope of Mexico, just kind of popped up in my head. So I got to the school, I was kind of like going over the words in my head. I got to school and I sat down and I didn't do any schoolwork that morning. I just sat at a desk and wrote the song out really quick. Went home and recorded it later that day. I got a call last night, it was from my brother. I need your help, bring a pistol and a shovel. I found myself in the middle of a field, digging up dirt, it didn't seem real. The very next day, try as I can't wash the dirt and the blood from my hands. I'm cool for now, raising up a toast, gonna drink it down to the Pope of Mexico. A cop pulled up without a sound. It's talking to me now about something they'd found. I laid him out on my front porch, and I jammed his cruiser hitting 80 heading north. Well, I'm cool for now, raising up a toast, gonna drink it down to the Pope of Mexico. They brought me down on the county line. My brother's heading south, taking his sweet, sweet time. I'm cool for now, raising up a toast, gonna drink it down to the Pope of Mexico. And a here's to my brother, the Pope of Mexico. Here's to my brother, the Pope of Mexico. Thank you so much.
Both Dave and I are happy and healthy, or as healthy as we're going to be while we're eating beef sticks, I guess, drinking coffee, and getting enough sleep. That's the other thing. So, well, maybe we'll see you out on the road. I mean, on tour. I mean, we'll see the people.